So Newcastle United have been well beaten here today at Spurs on an afternoon where, yeah, let's be honest, it is the festive period, but some of those goals were completely gift wrapped, and Newcastle, it's just all gone wrong for them in the last 4 days. It was only last weekend that Newcastle beat Manchester United, so you don't become a bad team overnight. This is clearly down to Newcastle being fatigued, Eddie Howe losing his ability to rotate the squad, and Newcastle ultimately knowing that they've got another game around the corner against AC Milan, and Eddie Howe in his press conference saying how he must be careful with the team he makes, the changes he makes, explaining that the changes that he could have made today had to be made with a purpose. In another interview with Sky, he spoke about the resources in Newcastle, or the team didn't have resources, but ultimately for Newcastle, they go into that game against Milan almost with nobody to really bring into the team. Canshaw and Longstaff come in after just half an hour's play today. Callum Wilson, he looked good when he came on, but is he going to be ready to start a game? So many questions, probably more questions than answers. That's the way I described it in my match report after the game. I think Newcastle really will look at January now and ensure that they don't have these problems going into the second half of the season. But really today, it's one that you're going to have to put down to a bad experience. And realistically, were they ever going to be able to live with the 4 competitions this season? They couldn't live with 3 last year. They're now struggling with 4 big games coming up in Champions League, Carabao Cup. It's going to be extremely tough, but I just feel that there is much more to come from Newcastle. I can't judge them too much on today because I just think it was all about tired bodies. Going into the game, I did wonder if he would rest Kieran Trippier. I asked Eddie Howe about that in his press conference. He said that it's difficult to rest a player who you rely on so much in terms of attacking capabilities. And to be honest, if you look at the stats today, Trippier was the one who put in 11 crosses on a day when Newcastle didn't create too much. That was his reasons for needing to start Trippier. I asked him about Lewis Hall, and he said that Tino Livramento deserves to continue to start on the team. That's why Hall has had to wait for his chance. It's going to be really interesting to see that team sheet against AC Milan. We also know Trippier is going to be suspended for next weekend's game against Fulham, so he's going to have to make a change at full back. Tough day for Newcastle down here, tough day for the fans. They travel down, they had travel chaos here. Some of them might not get back home tonight. It's been a really tough day all round. Bad day in the office for Newcastle here in the capital.